internet went down, but I'm back and the stream is back up as well. So apologies for that one. Nev helpfully sent me an invite to get back in. I'm trying to get the YouTube back up so I can check on the YouTube chat in the process. But in the meantime, we've got Bobo trying to go around the outside of Chris at Stowe Corner, but Chris was able to try and hold it. They're both diving into the pits. Luckily, Chris was still ahead of Bobo as they both managed to get the car slowed down for the pit entry. As Soze has carried on Armar pit, so Soze will inherit the lead overall. He's going longer than Armar. Armar's pitted on lap 50 at the end of lap 15. Soze going longer. Yeah, again, sorry for the stream dropping earlier, but we'll carry on. So Jules and Saviour now back ahead of the likes of Ant, Chris and Bobo. We're stopping significantly earlier off those soft tyres. Now on the mediums, Jules ahead of Saviour at Luffield. Ant finds himself ahead of Chris and Bobo, I believe stopping a lap earlier than those two, so Ant getting a nice little undercut on Chris and Bobo.
And he's going to lead this charge now to catch up to the two at the front, Jules and Saviour.
3.2 seconds currently as they go through Chapel. As we see just at the front of the shot, Saviour going round the outside of Jules into Stowe. Soze's carried on again on those medium tyres. He must be feeling happy on those. On lap 17. But that gap is coming down. Saviour with the fastest lap of a 29.066. As that gap to Soze is now down to 12.6. He's going to be carving chunks out of Soze with being on a lot better tyres, because Soze's still on those mediums that he started on, but still challenging well. Armar will be looking to close that down. He's currently all on his own. He's got 4 seconds to single track, but he's 5 seconds behind the Chris and Bobo train, so he's able to focus on himself on those soft tyres and eke into that gap of Soze and hopefully get ahead of the Aston Martin when Soze decides to stop. And I believe Soze's going round again. Soze extending a lot longer. He's going on to lap 18 now. He's going to be wanting those softs as fresh as possible to take the attack to Armar in the closing stages.
The problem with that though is that he's going to be so far behind as Chris sets the fastest lap. He's going to be so far behind Armar while he's got these old mediums on that he might not have enough laps left to make up the gap once he's pitted, so we'll just have to keep an eye on that when he does come in.
I know what you're trying to say. He may come out too far behind that it's going to be too much work to do on those fresh softs, and it's just not gonna, he's not gonna have the laps to close down the gap. Chris ahead of Ant, which is good for his championship, but not in a hole, because Chris in fourth. Armar, I believe, is net P1 because Soze yet to stop. Let's see if the Aston goes in this time around. As he heads down towards Stowe, does Soze decide to pit on this lap? No, Soze decides to carry on for another lap, but oi, back end decided to go under braking. He held it, but that's the struggle that he's going to have now as he takes those mediums onto lap 19. How much longer is he willing to take those medium tyres, knowing that Armar's going to be closing that gap down lap after lap after lap, and it's just going to be adding too much work for himself in the closing stages, as the gap between Chris and Bobo to Jules and Saviour has come down again. It's currently 1.7, so those three slowly reeling in Jules and Saviour to continue that fight from earlier on.
Yeah, they're going to need to catch up soon before their soft tyres start to lose grip compared to the mediums. But it's 1.5 seconds now, so just 5/10 away from getting into DRS range, but they are going to have to get a move on.
Yeah, and it's helping Saviour a bit because yes, they've been on those mediums for a lot longer, but those mediums obviously a lot durable, and also they're getting DRS off of each other. But Saviour around the outside before Stowe corner as Soze decides to finally pit on lap 19. He's took those medium tyres 19 laps, but the question is, how far behind Armar is the Aston Martin going to be when he comes out the pits? So we'll jump to Soze, still making his way out of the pits as Armar, you can see on the right hand side of your screen, goes down the Lewis Hamilton straight into Abbey as Soze finally makes his way out of the pits, and he's going to be behind single track Doris and Rassam, so he's got so much work to do to get back on terms with Armar. He's going to have very, very fresh soft tyres, and he's only got to do 7 laps on them. But he's got a fight with single track Doris, Rassam, and then it's a 7.3 gap to Armar. So Armar's looking very, very safe for the 25 points in Tier 2, which is not what Chris will want to hear or know, because he's stuck in third in a train as Jules moves to the inside of Saviour into Stowe corner. They're still side by side at Vale. Bit of a lock-up by Jules going around the outside of Saviour at Club. But this is not helping Chris's chances. He's in third, whereas Armar is looking very, very comfortable for 25 points and first in Tier 2. Whereas Chris currently will be only getting 16 points. That's if he doesn't get...
The other problem Chris has got is that I believe Jules and Saviour are actually pals as well, and they usually are in party chats together for these races, so I think they might actually be working together as well, which is going to make it even more difficult for Chris. Working in tandem,
but then that works the other way, because I know Chris and Ant tend to be in a party together, because I tend to be in there as well when it's a Monday for tiers 2 and 1. So, and we know how well a team Chris and Ant work together, because they went back-to-back constructors with Mercedes in tier 1. They know how to work as a team. Chris is looking very punchy as he's getting right up close to the rear end of the Red Bull of Saviour. He really wants to try and get this position. Saviour goes to the right, but Chris going down the inside of Jules. Jules having to give space to both drivers. Chris having to back out into third because Jules had the inside for Club, but Saviour made the move on the outside as Soze has now made his way up to 7th, so he's got past Rassam, he's got past Single Track, he's got past Doris, but he's got 8.3 seconds to Armagh on lap 22 or 26. He's got a lot of work to do to close that gap down in these closing stages, but at least he's cleared Rassam, Doris and Single Track, and now has clean air with the, what I would have to say is the freshest tyres out of everybody on the track. But I think 8.1 seconds is a little bit too much at this stage in the race to have to close down.
Jules just went wide out on the exit of Copse, but holds on to P2.
Yeah, we just jumped to Chris on the exit of at the end of that, because he was just about alongside the McLaren, but as you say, Jules able to hold on to the position. Jules now slices down the inside of Saviour into Stowe. But, oh, it's all getting a bit congested into Club Corner. Chris is going to have the inside. He's had to bounce across the sausage curves right on the inside. That's going to unsettle that Ferrari.
It's a safety car.
Safety car as well.
Panizza went off at Maggots and Beckett's.
So Chris would have had to back out. So we have a safety car. On lap 23, a Single Track didn't quite get his McLaren slowed down and has been given a 10-second penalty for crossing that white line entry over the speed limit. The question is, Jules and Saviour have been on those medium tyres from, I think, lap 12 they both decided to come in for those mediums.
I think it was 10 or 11 even.
Yeah, so they've been on those for quite some time. And with it being so late in the race, they can't really afford to pit for fresh sauce, because it means going behind the likes of Chris and Bobo, Armagh. But this has also brought Soze into the play with Armagh, because obviously with this safety car, those two are now bunched back up together. And as we know, Soze came in for the soft tyres at the end of lap 19, so he's been on those soft tyres only 3 laps. So it does look like Tier 2 could be swinging into Soze's favour, but with everyone bunched up, it's going to allow Armagh to probably defend from Soze, because obviously we'll be getting bunched back up. I'm not sure when the safety car will come in, because it's lap 23. We'll be heading on to 24. We could have the safety car in next lap for a 2-lap sprint to the flag here in X-Treme. So if you're Lorpy, who's just going through Woodcote now down towards Copse, I don't think the likes of him, Dan and Redcar may make to the back of the queue, but I don't think the likes of probably Dan and Lorpy will get to the safety car train before the safety car comes in, because I think it'll come in this lap to allow us at least 2 laps of racing, but we'll soon find out.
I think Dan will get there, but I don't. Yeah, Lorpy, not sure if he's got.
Yeah, Lorpy's just heading through Club, whereas Dan is heading towards the loop, so he's not. He's about 2 corners off the safety car train, whereas Lorpy's near enough a sector behind, near enough, as he enters Farm Curve. But Dan has
thing is,
caught the train.
You make that decision to pit, and then you've got to absolutely push the car to the limit on your outlap to try and catch the back of the safety car.
Yeah,
ultimately
you've got
that eats
to
up your tyres.
Yeah, you've pretty much got to gung-ho it from as soon as you enter the pits, because you don't want to be... I mean, if he times it right and the safety car comes in and he's still at racing speed and he catches it just right, he won't have to slow down at all if he catches it just right, which is not easy to do. But the safety car heading through Maggots, Beckett's, and then Chapel.
It's just about on the back of the snake now.
Yeah, you can see him just going through Maggots and Beckett's. Safety car in, yes, so we'll be having 2-lap sprint to finish off the week at Silverstone as the Aston Martin safety car barrels down towards Stowe Corner to make its way into the pits. So Jules will be de facto safety car, and he will be, I believe, on those mediums, wanting to probably take it slow enough, but I believe he's gone at Stowe. Chris already looking to attack Xavier, but this is going to be... Oh, Jules loses the car under braking into Club Corner, but no overtaking until you've gone past the start finish line. So that's a bit of a saving grace for Jules, but it is game on to lap 25. Chris will be wanting to get punchy behind Xavier's Red Bull, and he'll be wanting Soze to take the fight to Armar in these closing 2 laps. But it's getting close as Chris almost goes into the back of Xavier, and also Bobo on the outside of the Mercedes as we head down the Wellington Straight. Bobo on the outside of Ant holds the inside at Brooklands, which then Bobo will have the inside for Luffield. Chris on the inside of Luffield as Xavier trying to get P2, which then is also the inside of Woodcock, but it's side by side, Xavier and Chris on the way down to Cops. The last time these two were side by side at Cops there was contact. No contact this time. Xavier goes slightly over track limits. It's still side by side heading to Maggots, and Xavier holds the position. Yeah, but Bobo's right there as well, coming to attack Chris. We'll have DRS going on to the final lap, but that will be it. But Chris knows what's at stake. He's having a look at the outside of Xavier into Club. But Xavier able to hold position, hold station. As we go on to the final lap, DRS also enabled. Jules, Xavier, Bobo third. Trying to get Chris at Abbey, and it's still side by side going into Village. Chris will have the outside, the inside for the loop. Chris holds on to third. Soze has got ahead of Armar, so Soze leads in tier 2.
Oh wow.
But now Doris is looking to attack Armar. Armar looking to be under pressure as Armar is on the inside of Luffield. Doris on the outside. Armar is now down to third in tier 2 because Doris has now got him.
But Chris down to fourth as Bobo goes past.
It's all tops and turns in the championship fight. We've got one down into third of tier 2, but one fourth in tier 3. As we head on to the hangar straight for the last time, Xavier with DRS on Jules. Jules will be dumping everything into Stowe. Jules holds on through Stowe. He's just got Vale and Club to go as he takes the McLaren through Club for the last time. It is Papaya on top in X-Treme as Jules takes the win. Jules held on with that 2-lap sprint at the end and takes the win overall and in tier 1. an absolute banzai finish to end the week. Jules also gets the in-game driver of the day. But what a climax. Late safety car, 2-lap sprint. Jules takes the win. Xavier has to settle for second, and it is Bobo, the third driver on that trio on the top steps on the podium. So Jules, as I'm waiting for the able to run through the order if he lets me. There we go. Jules wins, Xavier second, Bobo third. Chris finishes in fourth, Ant fifth, and in fastest lap as well. Soze wins tier 2 in sixth. Doris gets seventh and second in tier 2. Armar rounds out the podiums in tier 2 in eighth. Rassam P9th, Redcar P10, which is also the win for tier 3. Lorpy 11th, Dan 12th, which is second in tier 3. Single track 13th, Smith 14th, which is third and the final position in tier 3. And then we have 2 non-classifications in Peninsula in 15th and Mika in 16th. What a way to round off the week with a late safety car and a 2-lap dash.
Yeah, that was a brilliant conclusion there. I wonder if Chris might be a bit unhappy with Xavier, because Chris, when they went side by side through Cops, Xavier actually went off track on the exit of that corner.
Yes, it was all 4 wheels off track and didn't. Yeah, so I wonder if we could be seeing that in the stewards, because you could see from the camera angle as they went through Cops that Xavier had all 4 wheels off track. He would probably argue the point that he wasn't probably given enough room, but it'll probably be in the stewards, but that's another kettle of fish. So that order is provisional. But due to a cut in internet, I am struggling to think of a driver of the day because I missed out a few laps. But I think Jules did well actually to take the win overall, because he could have easily have being at the front of that pack on the going on to the last lap, could have easily have lost it to Xavier on that last lap, but he must have done a lot of saving in the process. So I'll probably give Jules driver of the day due to the fact that I missed a few laps in those closing stages. But yeah, that rounds off the race week in MRC. Britain and Silverstone is done and dusted. We will head to the other side of the world for the next round in the championship, because we head to Suzuka and Japan, the figure of 8 circuit. We'll have MRCX at 7:30 on the Friday, which is a reverse championship grid 50% race. Monday we have tier 2 at 7 and tier 1 at 8:45, and then back again this week on Wednesday we'll have tier 3 at 7 o'clock, and X-Treme will be live again at 8:45 to round off the race week. Thank you for being Neville, and also thank you for able to get me back in the lobby after my internet went down. So big thank you to you on both those parts.
Yeah, no problem at all. There's always a bit of jeopardy with these things when broadcasting, so
yeah,
we take the rough with the smooth.
Yeah, it never goes smoothly. It always ends up being rough, so we have to take it with it as we go. So yeah, next time we go live will be Friday for MRCX to get the race week underway at Suzuka, and that'll be at 7:30. Again, that'll be a reverse championship order with a 50% race. So keep your eyes open for when that goes live on Friday. And that is it from myself and Nev. Enjoy the rest of your week.